Alright, y'all. Like, subscribe, and share. The rumor mill today has been going crazy because out of nowhere, I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I heard that Errol was coming back and he had a potential opponent in mind. The potential opponent was already lined up. You can see the article right there. Says former world champion emerges as a possible comeback opponent for Errol Spence, which is crazy because Errol, we were thinking that, I think that he needed a tune-up in order to get before he gets into that contender level and get to that fight that could possibly extend his career and put his final bid in as a Hall of Famer. And the rumor's been going crazy and everybody's been out here just wondering when the big fish is gonna be back in the ring. And as you can see, it's none other than the rumor mill swirling around. Everybody's going crazy. They think it's Tim Tszyu. The rumor's been out there. Robert Garcia was in a interview saying that. I've heard a few things that it actually is. This is actually true that this will probably be Earl's next opponent if he decides to come back. Now, I'm still going to say this because I'm not going to walk back what I said in my other video. Earl don't look like he's too concerned with being in no type of ring at any time soon, which is all right, whatever. He does seem to be in good shape, so that's cool, right? So I'm going to talk about why I think Errol versus Tim Tszyu is the correct fight. It's the smart move right now, and what could potentially happen in the future for him. So the reason why it's a good fight for him right now is because Tim Tszyu, for lack of a better word, how things could change within a calendar year, within a year and a half, it may be, right? Shout out to my elbow patch right there. But anyways, Tim Tszyu has been in some wars, right? So let's think about it. The first fight with Fondora came along, right? Earl was already in the runnings to get the winner of that fight. You talk about Tim Tszyu versus Fondora 1. This is a year after his loss to Terrence Crawford. Tim Tszyu loses, and I just want to be quite frank. When that fight happened, Sebastian Fondora was on his way to being sparked out cold. I don't care what nobody says. Had his nose broken. He was dinged a couple of times. He just could not get away from the overhand right. The elbow that Fondora connected and gashed Tim Tszyu open really did his damage. He didn't stop Tim Tszyu in that fight at all, right? Fight goes on. Tim Tszyu pivots. Instead of getting an immediate rematch with Sebastian Fondora, he goes into a fight with probably the toughest challenge out there, which is Bakram Machiavelli for the IBF title. He goes in there and fights the worst possible game plan and fight that you could ever fight. He tries to slug it out with a guy who has heavy hands in both of these gloves. He has dynamite in both of them. And gets sparked out cold. First time ever being stopped, first time ever being knocked out. He comes back, fights a light touching Joey Spencer, a guy that we hadn't seen in some time. Gets him up out of there early. He would clearly outclass Joey Spencer, and Joey Spencer was not on the level of Tim Tszyu. Then comes back again and gets a rematch with Sebastian Fondora. Now, I'll shout out to my boy CJ from Goodfellas Sport TV, one of my partners in crime. He had put out there that in his Discord, and he had reminded me that there was an article that suggested that Tim Tszyu's corner in that second fight with Sebastian Fondora let it be known that they felt he was soft for quitting on that stool. I think in that fight, especially when you looked at the corner before he gave up and quit, he just had this look in his eyes like he just couldn't believe what was coming back at him from Sebastian Fondora. Mind you, this is right after he had a successful round around it. I thought that he won. He cracked dude's nose open again, and it was just over from there. Recently, he had a fight with somebody. I don't know who it is. I'm not going to look it up because it doesn't matter. It was a quick fight. I don't know how he looked. I was told that he didn't look too good. it really might be over for him. 154 might not be the weight that he should be at. He probably should be at 160, or he probably should just retire. He literally went through back to back to back to back wars. Now, for Errol, this is a guy that's been off 3 years. Like I said, we don't want to see Errol versus Virgil Ortiz. Errol's been off, repeat, 3 years. He has not been in the picture. He's not a contender, anything like that. This is not a title fight. This is looked up as a, I'm not going to say a tune-up. This is more like a, damn, if I can't think of a tune-up, I would say this is more of a jump start, right? So if a tune-up is what your car gets when it needs, this is a jump start. Earl is literally probably learning from square one and getting his mind right from his fight with Terrence Crawford. Another shout out to my boy Goodfella CJ. He brought up a great point. Earl just came off of a historic night. A historic night that didn't go his way, where he got a historic ass whooping, and he got it in a historic fashion against Terrence Bud Crawford. If you look at what Bud went on to do and what Bud did prior to his fight on July 29, 2023, only reason I remember that day is because I won a lot of money. It just proves that, going to 54, getting the title, jumping 2 weight classes, getting undisputed from Canelo. He was going to go back down to 160 had Genomic probably not popped hot. It just proved that he just lost to a generational talent. This is a guy that we see once in a lifetime, that type of fighter. We haven't seen that type of talent since that pool of Floyd and, guys like B-Hop, Roy Jones. We haven't seen a guy of that caliber since those guys. He's literally cut from a different cloth. So Earl probably looks at what Bud did and had done prior to, and he's sitting back saying, you know what? I have no shame in this loss. There's nothing wrong with it. I was never going to be able to beat him. He was the better man that night, and I should just lick my wounds and build back from scratch. And that's probably what he's been doing, because he does look to be in phenomenal shape. Now, from this, we don't know what Earl's, I'm not going to say his punch resistance, but his punch resistance, his reaction to punches, anything like that's going to be. I don't want to fall into the narrative that he had brain damage or anything like that, because this is the same guy that got flung from a car, took abuse from that, came back, defended his title 2 times, and broke a dude's eye socket all in the same process. So we're not going to go and play that. I think this is a pretty decent fight. And if Earl loses, it's a sign that he needs to pack it up. To be honest, if Tim Tszyu loses, he need to pack it up too, because who's he going to fight? Virgil Ortiz and get whooped on too? He's not going to fight Bakram. He can't beat Duran Edis. Who knows? The winner could get Xander Zayas. 154 is not that deep. Oh, Earl could beat Tim Tszyu, and it don't have to be a title fight in the picture. It could be Jermell Charlo. There's a lot of things that could that are in play here. We just have to see how either fighter looks. This is literally do or die. This is what this fight should be titled as, do or die. We don't know if it's going to be here stateside. I think it probably would be here stateside, unless they can sell out a stadium, that same stadium that Devin Haney went and got undisputed from Kambosos in. And if not, we might be back in Texas, Vegas, who knows. But the boxing world is going crazy. Al Heyman, one of Al Heyman's lead dogs, is back in the rumor mill, and the fact that there's been so many reactions in the boxing world lets you guys know that his fans, and Earl does have a wild fan base, they're still interested in seeing him. So you guys let me know what you think. Who do you think is going to win? What do you think of this comeback? What do you think of this fight for both fighters? And what do you think, when do you think the announcement will happen? Let me know. Like, subscribe, and share. Catch y'all with another one. Shout out to my elbow patches, too. Working hard.